remember this. We met as, when he was an undergraduate, he got involved in some of our work on the robotic imaging system. At one point, he had, I think, the world's largest collection of dial gauges, hooked up to a robotic platform over at the Brain Institute. And you guys all got chairs?
I'll sit right here.
Okay.
So when Jared started this, it was, the question was, what does he want to work on? He had a very distinguished undergraduate record. He actually was able to get, was it McKnight funding to support his graduate work for a number of years. And so the big question was, what is he going to work on? And as I met Jared and interacted with him as an undergrad, it was clear that he was a surfer and had a reasonably laid back attitude to many, to life, right? You guys know this. And so I figured, okay, thesis, he's probably going to want to do some, biomechanics studies in the lab, do sort of applied kind of stuff, and which is great, but it's kind of the mindset I had. And he came and said, basically, I want to do math and build hardware. Okay, let's have you do math and build hardware. And so that's what he did. He made his proposal 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 3 years ago. And as you'll see, or if you've read through the documents, has just done a mountain of work that is really, it's really nice because it's a combination of theory, computer simulation, hardware, building, design, electronic circuit fabrication, and then experimentation. So he's really been very cross-disciplinary in the things he's gotten involved in and made a contribution on. So it is a really considerable thesis work. And we'll hear a little bit about it now, right?
Okay. Cool. All right, guys. So my name is Jared, and today I'll be talking to you guys about the design of serial link manipulators for desired end effector impedances. I think we have somebody outside. We have seats up front. Just started. Okay, so getting into it, a little bit of background information.
Good?
Yeah. Okay. So why don't robots currently do these things? Like, why don't we have robots that are used to rehab stroke victims or take and put weather stripping on windshields? And, potentially you can save a lot of money by using a robot instead of personnel, but the fact of the matter is current robot designs aren't really suited to these tasks. And as such, I propose a redesign. So when I talk about robot, what I really mean is a serial link manipulator. And you can think of a serial link manipulator as kind of like a human arm, right? You'll have a joint with actuators around it, and a link, and a joint with actuators around it, and then a link, all moving proximally to distally with a end effector at the end of your long kinematic chain. And the end effector is usually what is the focus of your analysis, and that's going to be why I specified end effector impedances for my design. Okay, so when I talk about impedance, Neville Hogan stated in an impedance control, or in impedance control approach to manipulation, that when a manipulator is mechanically coupled to its environment to ensure physical compatibility with that environmental admittance, the manipulator should assume the behavior of an impedance. So basically what that means is physics tells you what an environment will behave like when you interact with it, and you can't change that physics. So rather than trying to get clever with dealing with that, just use that directly to come up with some sort of complementary behavior, desired behavior out of your manipulator. So that's the idea of like what an impedance is and the rationale for
Can
it.
you give us an example?
Sure. So when I say physical impedance, what I mean is it's basically a relationship between forces and motions. And the force that's created by your impedance is a function of the deviation of where you want to be in space and where you are. So one example.
Is the robot touching anything in the environment?
It could be or maybe not, but the real,
Well, if it's not, then it's just conjoint control.
because when it does, then you have problems.
But you said it's not.
Not always.
Okay.
So with this impedance stuff, you could have a impedance like a spring. So look at where you want to be position-wise and where you are, and if you get away from where you want to be, fight back to get back.
So it looks like you're trying to push yourself back under a path,
Yes.
so you're not touching anything.
Well, it depends what you got you off that path, because it could have been a position control error, or it could have been some.
See anything
un-
right up about you and pushing you off the path.
In the when I designed this 2-degree freedom manipulator, part of the design process talked about a disturbance force being applied. So with all of this, what I want is a robot to behave some way. And to prove that it behaves some way, I came up with disturbances that would deviate it from some desired position, and it would fight that disturbance some amount, like some specific way. That would be captured within, really what I'm using is basically a spring force at the end effector. But for impedance control, it need not be just limited to a spring. You could look at the derivative of position and have an effective damper, or you could look at the second derivative of position and have an effective